I'm Frank, and I'm all about helping business owners and entrepreneurs start and grow their lawn care business. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button so you're notified of my future videos. Welcome back, Lawn Care Pros, and we're continuing our conversation with Angel today, and he is the owner of Ramy's Landscape and Lawn Maintenance. So let's look at, some of the services that you provide. You mentioned, landscaping, you guys do maintenance, you do irrigation, I believe you do landscape lighting.
Yes, sir.
And break down for me, if you had to pick, one of those things, right? What's something that brings you a lot of joy? Like if you had to niche down and go, all I'm going to do is landscape lighting, right? And I'm not suggesting you do that. Let's just say you said, all I'm going to do is irrigation, right? If you had to pick one, right, which one would you say? Maybe pick two. Putting you on the spot, right?
Man, that's a hard question to answer, man.
Which one is your favorite? And it might be your favorite. It might be your favorite because you love that kind of work, or it might be your favorite because it's the highest margin, right?
Right. I will say that, man.
That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, it is. It is tough because that's the reason why we offer the services that we do, because I love every single one of them. I really do. But as far as profits, I would have to go with lighting. Lighting is very profitable if you know what you're doing. And you don't need fancy tools. All you really need is a shovel, a really good shovel, a good pickaxe, and some good wire cutters. And that's all you need. So if I were to go solo, again, say something crazy happens and I go solo, that's probably what I would do. And that is a service that you can do, say, in one day. We've done lighting jobs that are pretty high end, and we would knock them out in one day with 3 employees. We've had jobs where with lighting that's $8,000-$10,000 jobs, and the profits is pretty good. Versus, for example, irrigation. You need a really good trencher to dig the trenches, obviously, and those machines can become, very high dollar. And if you're renting, it becomes high dollar. And if you have to buy, it becomes high dollar. So, you have to look at what makes more money, obviously. But if it's not about the money, then I would say landscaping, installations. Installation is profitable too, but not as profitable as lighting. Because prices on plants and trees, they go up and down sometimes. So it's not as accurate sometimes. We always have to ask, the nurseries, our suppliers, for updated sheets here and there. But if it were me, if I had to choose one, for money-wise, profit-wise, it would be lighting. But as far as my passion, it would be landscaping installs.
Well, it sounds like you got a great mix, right? So one can, definitely feed on the other. So we've identified your favorite child, right? When it comes to the profitable side of it, right? That landscape lighting. So who's your not so favorite child? Is it irrigation?
I think I would say irrigation. Because I'll say this, Frank, because there has been scenarios where, not a lot, but there has been scenarios where we're trenching and, we called the 811 number, call before you dig,
yeah.
And somebody forgets to mark something. The worst that it got was a septic tank system. And we had just had to replace a few pieces. It wasn't bad, but that right there slowed down the production. So, and we're always running into, say, what's it called? Internet lines. The cable company in our area, they don't trench their lines deep enough. So we're always running into that problem with irrigation. There's always something. But I think the worst that we've done was a septic tank system. Thankfully, this is where you have to be fully insured comes into play. This is where workers' comp comes into play as well. We didn't, have anybody injured, but, it could have been a situation like that. But as far as the septic tank goes, we ended up just, biting the bullet and paying out of pocket, because if we filed it on our insurance, it would have cost us more later down the road. So, it was one of those things that you just have to, like I said before, just, find a solution to every problem. And my guys, they knew exactly what to do. And one of my guys actually had experience in septic tank systems. So he, I told the homeowner, said, hey, this happened. Don't worry. We're fully insured if we cannot fix it. But we ended up, putting the things back to the way it was supposed to. So I would say, yeah, irrigation.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. So let's not forget about the other children, right?
Yeah.
So
they're just as special.
Yeah. What about lawn maintenance, right? Like the mowing and the mulching or straws or shrub trimming, those kind of things.
So I will say this, Frank. It is amazing. I love lawn care. I started with it. That's how I started out, and it's like my oldest child, I guess you could say. And it's my oldest, and it's my most responsible. And I love it. I love it because here's the thing: when you have when you get invited to bid on commercial jobs on, say, for example, schools, event centers, offices, stuff like that, it's not just mowing, but it's also it's going to be the maintenance on irrigation, the maintenance on the lighting, the maintenance on pre-emergence, fertilizing, mulching and all that, pine straw, whatever. So it is like the biggest generator in a way, because it brings in the whole package, if that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's the way I look at lawn care. We service residentials. Mainly our oldest ones are the ones that we're still servicing right now. We're focusing this year more on the commercial side. We do have, several that call, and we still pick them up, of course, because we convert those into a yearly contract, and so that helps us out in the long run when it's off season, of course. But I see lawn care as a package, and so anytime we get an invitation to bid on something, it's the whole deal. It's not just mowing yards, or it's not just mowing the lawn, but it's also servicing, and that's what in our area. That's why we, in a way, it has helped us grow. We stand out in a way because we are able to offer those types of services. We have also clients that have a lawn care company that does just the lawn care, and we are the ones that do the irrigation, winterization, startups, the pruning, the trimming, the mulching, the pine straw. We have several clients like that as well. I call those my landscape maintenance clients. So that right there, the lawn care side has really helped us grow in so many ways. So that's why that's my oldest child, and that's the most special one to me in a way.
It's that nice recurring revenue, right?
Yes, that's it. I hope that makes sense.
I'm absolutely.
Sure a lot, you yourself and a lot of other companies can relate to that. And
sure.
Because lawn care, that's where it all starts, and that's how other doors to other services start to open. So to me, that is probably my most special child.
Yeah. And yeah. I look at it like this. So the lawn maintenance side is our recurring revenue, and the irrigation, the landscape lighting, and some of the other stuff that we do are one-offs, right? Like I'm not going to go and install an irrigation system at a house or a commercial property. I'm going to install it one time. I might do maintenance on it, repairs on it, but it's a one-off. Now I got to go and find another account that I'm going to install my irrigation system on. And I'm going to have to do the same thing with the lighting, right? I'm going to do Mrs. Jones's house. I'm doing beautiful lighting, but now I got to go find and see if Mrs. Smith also wants it. So it's one-offs, but where our, the best child, I guess, is the maintenance side, where I'm coming in every week or every other week or whatever the maintenance program is in your area. Like you said, you guys do contracts, so they're on annual contract. So it's like money in the door every time. Like I don't have to I don't have to resell myself. Where in the other verticals, the landscape lighting and irrigation, I have to resell each time. So let me ask you, with the number of employees that you have right now, do you designate a certain crew member or a team that is strictly irrigation or lighting, or I know ideally it'd be good if everybody's cross-trained, but that takes a lot of time and effort and skill set, right? So
Yes, that's that part there that you just mentioned. That's when the winter times. That's the winter months is when you start to you train the others just in case they stay with you the whole year. You want to keep them throughout the whole season, so you have to teach them all the others, all services that we provide too. So that's what we do on our off time when there's no mowing to be done. They go with the other crews and learn that new skill. So that's what we do during that time.
okay. Yeah, that sounds good. And you mentioned you guys are really concentrating on a lot of commercial accounts this year, as opposed to, I guess, let's find out from you what your ratio is right now and what you'd like it to be from your ratio of residentials to commercial accounts.
Yeah, right now I would say we are 60% commercial and 40% residentials. We do offices, churches, and we have a shopping center as well. So those there, they help us a lot throughout the year, especially when they're contracts. But yeah, our ratio right now, I would say it's 60 and 40, 60 commercial and 40% residentials. We still take on the residentials. Okay. But this year we're really hammering down on commercials.
Is there a ratio that you feel that you want to get to in the next year or two, or?
I will say that I would like to keep it the way it is right now, because we have such a small town. It's not huge either. It is a growing town, I'll say that. We have a lot of businesses coming to our area, and that's why I'm focusing more, putting myself out there more, talking to contractors, telling them our services, because there are contractors that come to our town that are building hotels, building shopping centers, building restaurants, stuff like that. I go up to them, talk to them, and tell them, because most of the time they're from other states, so they don't know the area. So that's when you get out of your comfort zone and go out and just introduce yourself and who you are and what your company does. And that's what I did recently. And we just picked up a bid, or we won the bid actually, from a company that is building right now. So I can't say anything who it is yet, but it's going to be a big one for us this year.
Oh, nice. That's really good. So for our audience, let's say somebody's just starting out, or maybe they've been in business for a while, and tell us, in your opinion, what are some of the pros and cons of commercial? And let's do the same thing for residential.
Commercial is, I would say, is probably a better option. If I had to choose, if say we get to a point where we have to choose either to stick strictly with commercial or stick strictly with the residentials, man, it's really hard to say sometimes, because there are so many pros and cons. I would say with commercial, it's more of a payment wise, it's a net 30. So whenever you service, you have to bill them at the end of the month. Versus some of the residentials, they like to pay their bills on time. So after every service, you get that payment.
Yeah.
So that's where as far as money wise, revenue goes. But you still have those clients that are special because they were with you since day one. So I always say, we're always going to keep them no matter what, just in case something does happen where we grow to a point where we have to, maybe drop that side of the business. But I really want to say that I don't see us doing that, but just in case we would, I would say maybe, I would choose commercial, because there's so many opportunities out there with the services that we provide. There's only so much you can do if you're only mowing lawns. for commercial properties, because say that the whole package is this and this and this. You have to do the maintenance on this, do the maintenance on that, and I'm one of those that don't like to sub things out.
Right.
So I know there are some companies, and they're good with it, but for me, I would rather learn that skill and be able to one day even sell that as a service. I like to learn new skills, so I tell my guys the same thing. Look, if there's a new service that we're going to provide, I'll let you guys know. But first, we have to master that skill in order to start providing that service. So that's the way I look at it, and I could be wrong. Some that's the way I look at for my business. So I know there are some other businesses out there that look at it differently, but that's my point of view on commercial.
I don't think there's a right or wrong way. It's just picking what's right for you and picking a niche. There's companies that love doing commercial and that's all they do, and there's companies that do residential and that's all they do, and there's companies that do both. I was just curious, what your passion was, and it sounds like you're more inclined to move more towards the direction of doing commercial. But I definitely understand, you have the residential side of it, and there's no reason to let go of that because it sounds like it's very successful. So.
Yes, and that's that was our our entry to the business, and so if we do have commercial clients that have been with us for years, we always send them a thank you letter, stuff like that at the end of the year, end of the season, Christmas cards. That means a lot to them as well, and so we always want to make sure we let them know that they're special to us. We're very blessed and very thankful for the success that we've had. Not only in the landscaping and the lawn care, but also in our other business as well. We have the real estate side to our business, but I know the podcast is not about real estate, but that is another business that we also own, and it's been very successful as well. But the lawn care and the landscaping is my my generating revenue that really has made an impact in our town. And I like to look at it, as what kind of difference can you do? What is going to be your what are people going to remember you as? That's what I like to look at it, and I want to be able to maybe motivate somebody one day, or make it to where somebody is like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it too. Impact other people as well at the same time.
Man, I love that. So speaking of motivation, right? So take your present self, right, and look at your past self, maybe going back when you were first starting out. What would you say, knowing what you know now, to your past self to motivate that person, or tell them it's going to be okay, or tell them what direction they should go?
That's a really good question. There are days. Everyone is going to have a day. Whether you're starting out or you're old in the business, and you're one of the veterans in the business. There's always going to be a bump in the road. Always, no matter what. Whether it's with the business, maybe with a certain client, maybe with an employee. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be problems. So always know that there's hope. There's always, because I remember when I first started out, I never thought that I would be where I am right now. And, you have to motivate yourself every single day. Find something that it's like watering a plant. If you don't water the plant, it's not going to grow. So you have to feed it every single day. No matter what happens, no matter what life throws at you, you have to stay, you got to keep your fire burning, even if it's raining. So that's, that right there has really helped me out a lot. Is another thing is my family. When I started the business, obviously I was married, had 2 kids, and it wasn't easy. It was not easy. Still to this day, I still have some challenges that we have to face. Certain things that we have to do. We all have challenges, no matter what chapter you're in your business. Everybody's going to have problems, and there's not a single business out there that, won't have it. Everybody has it. And so, don't think that you're the only one. Don't think that, it's just you. We all have it every single day.
I'm so glad that you shared that with us because, a lot of people think that it's all rosy when they look at a company that's successful, right? Like your company is successful. And what a lot of people look at is your company and they're looking at, oh man, he's doing so great. And all they're looking at is that you've arrived, right? They're not looking at your journey. They're not looking at the sleepless nights. They're not looking at, and I can't tell you if this is true or not, but maybe you could share with us or not. I know it is for many people that are out there that are starting their business or they're, going through this journey. I know for a fact that many people struggle with, am I going to make it, right? They're struggling with, is employee A, B, and C going to show up tomorrow? What happens whenever they don't show up? So it like all those struggles, all those pains, how am I going to, pay the bills? And, we want to let people know that they're not the only ones, right? And we want to let the people know that in order to arrive, you have to go through the journey. And it's not always, it's not always as pretty as it looks.
Exactly. That's a really good point, man. And, that was a really good question. It was really hard to answer because, in different businesses, you have different problems. So, for ours, it was, like you said, endless nights. I remember when we first broke ground on our shop in our office, people were texting me, congratulations, so happy for you. And I'm just, in the back of my mind, I was still like, it was surreal to me. I was like, this is really happening, and I'm like, man, we're really building our shop right now, because we ran our business for the first 2 years out of my garage at home. And so it always starts out of a garage, right?
And nothing wrong with that,
Yeah, it always starts out of a garage. Apple started in a garage. Amazon started in a garage. But going back to the point, but yeah, this is, it was a huge milestone for us because I never would have thought that, hey, one day I'm going to build me a shop. And I never thought it was going to be so soon. Our second year in business, that was when we broke ground and people were just texting and calling. And I was emotional because I knew what it took. Mm-hmm. I knew how many nights, endless nights, staying up, quoting, getting my bids together. Also doing my lesson plans at the same time because I was still teaching. So, we have to have our lesson plans turned in also. So at the end of the week, so it was the craziest time, but so rewarding. A lot of guys are like, man, how'd you do it? I'm like, man, it's really what it is hard work. Just work your tail off, every single day and just sweat, the first couple of years, my guys see me now. They're like, oh, all you do is drive around. I'm like, no, that's not all I do. I'm meeting up with clients. I am giving out quotes. I'm bidding on jobs. I'm working behind the computer, wrapping things up, making sure my crew leaders are on the same page as me. So it looks easy, but it really is not. It takes a lot of time and a lot of patience. Endless nights every single day. It was for the first 2 years because I had a goal, I had a vision, and that's what it takes. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's not impossible either. So it's definitely possible.
Absolutely. And I hope that helps someone out there that's in the same boat where they're thinking, did I make the right decision? Should I quit? It kind of boils down to having grit, right? Just
right.
Sure determination.
It's definitely a lot of grit. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's working harder and smarter at the same time. You got to work smart and work hard. I know there's that that saying out there that work smarter, not harder. But no, imagine what you can do if you work harder and smarter. So
I like that.
That's what I like to go by.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you said you're driving around doing nothing. And that's and so when you're doing that and you are going to the houses and the commercial properties and doing the biddings, I'm just curious, do you do all that, or do you have other people that are also going out and doing estimates, or is that kind of your kind of a baby?
That is what I do. That is my baby. And actually, I don't know if I've said this. I'm sure you've seen it maybe on my social media. But my wife is actually she retired from teaching as well. So she is our administrative secretary, whatever you want to call her. She is the brains as far as the finances go, the payroll. She's helped us out so much. So I can't take all the credit, Frank. I got to give credit to my wife as well. I couldn't do it without her. But we are. She's with me. I would say about 60% of the time that we're working. And if it's say a bid or we are going to check out a new project, she's with me. But if she is so busy and she has to do some stuff in the office, she's at the office. But most of the time she's with me, and she helps me to go ahead and schedule to meet up with clients. Go ahead. She knows how to. We use QuickBooks as our billing.
Bookkeeping and
for
billing.
For bookkeeping, yes. I'm sorry. How to.
Oh, you're good.
There. But for billing and all that, I highly recommend QuickBooks. By the way, it's helped us out so much with the taxes and all that. QuickBooks and Jobber. Jobber has been huge for our business because that's what keeps my lawn care crews on their schedule. And you can see how they're completing each task, each job. Is so cool. But going back to what I do is I go meet with clients. Sometimes she's with me, sometimes she's not. I'll go out and meet with them, talk with them. They'll show me what they want done, and if we're lucky, if we're not crammed with estimates, we'll go ahead and write the estimate up right then and there, and we go ahead and provide it to the client. So you have to stand on top of that too, because sometimes clients are waiting. I remember when I first started, when my wife wasn't involved at all, it would take me like 2 to 3 weeks sometimes to give them an estimate on a project, and by that time, I'm sure they're probably forgetting about you. They're not as serious by then. So I highly recommend to the listeners that if you're doing an estimate, to put it out there ASAP, because while it's still fresh on their mind and they're still excited about it, that right there. That's how we're able to sell our jobs, more effectively in a way. And when you're meeting with the client, to be very, confident about your product, and confidence is what's helped us out a lot too. And you learning the type of person, the type of client that you're meeting up with, because there are some clients that are serious and some clients that like to crack jokes. Mm-hmm. So learning how to get along with those, with the type of characters is very important too. So I highly recommend. I like to read. There's a certain book that I like to read out there. It's Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. It's a really good book, and I highly recommend it to the listeners. If you're looking at selling more products, selling more services, it's really good stuff.
Well, I hope Grant will send you and I free books or some endorsement money or something.
Some gear or something, right?
Send us something. Yeah. He's going to send us like a cup or something.
I will say that, reading is very crucial in the business, especially if you know where you want your business to go and eventually be one day. I highly recommend reading the 10X rule.
Okay.
That really changed my mind and changed the way I looked at business and where I wanted to be. I'm sure some of your listeners, or a lot of your listeners, have read that book, and I highly recommend it to anyone that's starting in the business. It's really good stuff, really good info, a lot of good strategies in there, and just follow the guy on social media and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's where a lot of my growth has helped, the way that I look at it, and the way that I want to operate, my business, and types of investments, the type of deals, the type of services that are profitable. Profit margins are very, very crucial and important to a business. If it's not making you money, then why are you doing it? This is the way I look at it. If you start to read the first couple of chapters, the first couple of pages, it's going to really make sense and make you look at business a lot different than you've been brought up to look at business as, because all my life, my parents, were more like middle class, actually more like low class. And, as far as finances go, all my life, I always told myself and, promised my parents that I will make a difference in our family. I'll be that guy. And, and I always wanted to. When I became a teacher, that was huge because nobody in my family has ever, had a 4-year degree, had a profession like that. But little did I know that profession didn't bring in what eventually is going to make my future the way that I want it. So I had to let it go. And when I did, my family was so upset, my parents especially. But now they see why. And I told them, I say, because to them, it was a profession like that is the world, because, being an immigrant from a different country to find a better life, to find a better future for the children was huge. And, to them, to my family, to my culture, coming to the United States is a big deal. And, proud to say that I'm here, and I'm the greatest country in the world. I love it here, man. And I'm so glad that my parents decided to come here, because if not, I don't know what I'd be doing right now, Frank, honestly. But
I tell you what, I love your story, and I can tell you you're inspiring. And I definitely believe that you're going to inspire many people. And
I hope so.
Let's go back and ask a couple more questions.
Man, shoot away.
That's on my mind. You talked about growth, right? Business growth, and you've been growing at a tremendous pace. Where do you see yourself in, let's say 2025 or even next year, 2023?
Well, the thing is, we have our goals for each business. We have our goals. Last year, our goal was to hit 1 million. And we were able to we were right at 975. We were shy of 1 million. So
Awesome.
We're almost reached that goal, man. And I tell my wife, I'm like, man, if we only would have sold that one job, because there was one job that could have made it. But I tell her, if we could have sold that one job, but it is what it is, and just gotta keep moving. This year, our goal is to hit 1.5, and so far it's looking good. And give all praise to the man upstairs, because without him, none of this would have been possible. But yeah. In each business, we have our goals, and this year for the real estate side, we are on the process of building our first apartments, and on the real estate side, and of course we flip houses and we have rental properties too. So we stay busy on that side. And also in the landscaping. And we actually just purchased some land behind our shop, and that's where our newest business is going to come into play. Hopefully this year as well, because we're trying to stay on top of things, and trying to find the time to do it sometimes seems impossible, but maybe this year, hopefully at the end of October, we'll be breaking ground on that.
Man, that's fantastic. I'll have to reach out to you and ask you some more questions about the real estate side, because I'm definitely
absolutely.
dabbling in that a little bit myself, and trying to get a little bit more knowledge on that. So
right, that's what it's all about. Is helping each other out, and if there's anything I could help anybody with, I'm always, anytime somebody reaches out to me on Instagram, sometimes I can see it, sometimes I see it, sometimes I miss it, and I always say maybe a late reply. I might be late on replying to that person, but I always say, hey, here's my number if you need something, stuff like that. If I see that they have a lot of questions about how to price this, how to price that, I say, hey, just text me and see what can help you out with.
That's awesome. Tell me if there's any stories that you'd like to share, during your journey, or anything that you want to share.
Man, So many to choose from, though. So many to choose from. But yeah, the coolest story that I would say that is still a part of the business today. So I mentioned us building our shop. So believe it or not, Frank, this land that I built it on wasn't intention. I did not intend on buying it one day, but we lived here. We lived on this land during my childhood. We lived in a small mobile home, a single wide mobile home, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. I shared bedrooms with my sisters because we were struggling financially. My dad was, the only bread provider during that time. And never would I thought that one day this is where my shop would be or my business would be sitting on. And I haven't shared this story with anyone because it means a lot and it can be emotional when I think about it and talk about it.
Well, I got chills already. I seriously just got a little bit of chills. So I appreciate you sharing that on my show.
No, it's something that I've been planning on, writing about one day and sharing with others. But this land is almost an acre. It's 3/4 of an acre. The land, we bought it. My dad actually, he inherited it he bought it from the owner. We were renting the trailer at the time. The owner passed away. The owner's brother, I believe, I can't remember exactly, but I think the owner's brother came and asked my dad hey, would you be interested in this small piece of property with a single wide trailer? And my dad did everything. He was borrowing money from family, borrowing money from the bank, working overtime just to come up with the money to buy this property. And later down the road, as we got older, I think I was 9 when he bought this property. During that time, I was 9 years old, and he ended up, he wrote it off he wrote off this property to my sisters when they got older, about 6 or 8 years ago, and my sisters, became the owners of the property, and we grew up here, man. It was. I remember I still I'm looking at the window today and I can literally picture the bus picking us up going to school. And, but it is, really, it takes you back in time and really appreciate what your parents have done for you. Even though they weren't able to do something for themselves, they were able to create that path for us as the kids. During that time. So, I really appreciate that in so many ways, and I value that so much. And, we were growing at a rapid pace. We were outgrowing our garage at my house. My wife wasn't able to park her car inside anymore because we had equipment mowers. We bought our first Dingo mini skid steer, and it was taking up everything with the attachments. It was taking up all the space. So I reached out to my sisters, and they were gracious enough to say yes to sell it to me. So I bought the land, and I say, this is it. This is going to be the piece of property where we're going to build our shop on. And it's when we removed, because the mobile home was still here, believe it or not.
Oh.
It was still here on the property last year, and it was vacant. So we went ahead and removed it. But when we removed it, because we gave it away, basically. Mm-hmm. We gave it away to, there's some guys in our area that collect scrap metal. So we were like, hey, would you be interested in this? So yeah, of course. So they hauled it off. And as they were hauling it off, Frank, man, it was just one of those moments because I shared my bedroom with my sisters. My parents were on the other side of the wall because it was such a small mobile home. I'll try to share a picture one day when I do share the story. But it was such a small place, and just to reminds you, it's a reminder of what life can offer if you take advantage of all of the opportunities and take advantage of what you can do if you're hungry enough. If you're, you have to have courage to do stuff like this. I say that in the most humble way that I can, but it takes a lot of courage to start a business. It takes so much energy from you, but when you see the fruits of it, man, it really, really sinks in. It tells you, it reminds you of how you started out and where you came from, the family that you come from may have not had the resources to help you, but the love that my parents, offered to me, just telling me, hey, don't give up. Hey, you can do this. Hey, they may have not been able to help me out financially, but just being there as a support meant the world to me. And for my shop to be here today on the same land, that we were raised, at the beginning, it's huge. It means a lot. And this is my baby. This is my the baby of the family. This is my youngest child, and this is the place. This is the place that holds the most attachments. I always say this. I tell my wife, I said, one day, our children will run the place. If they rather sell it, it's up to them. If I'm not around anymore, that's their choice. Whatever it is, they want to sell it, but I will make sure that they know how much this means to me. Because at the end, I can't make that choice for them. I can't tell them, hey, they'll never sell the place, they'll never sell the business. Because, whatever it is that they want to do, they may have a greater plan, with it. But to me, it's special. And, we're very, very blessed. And couldn't do it without the support that we had. Yes, we've had, family members that always said, hey, it's not possible. You'll have that. And to all the listeners out there, I had that too.
Absolutely.
I guess you can call them, haters in a way, but
naysayers.
You're always going to have that. Yeah, naysayers. You're always going to have that. I know it's cliche as it sounds. You're always going to have, the people that doubt you, the people that say, oh, how's he doing it? Or, there's no way that he can do that. There's no way that he's doing that right now. There's got to be something behind it.
Yeah.
Because we get stares sometimes, or we hear rumors of, Ramy's this, Ramy's that. There's no way. And I'm like, yes, there is. Work your tail off. And yes, there is a way. Say no to the 9-to-5, and there are so many opportunities out there. And I know a lot of people that have a side hustle that want to leave their full-time job so badly, but for some reason there's still that it's scary. Don't get me wrong, it is very scary. But if I can do it, if you see a lot of businesses out here that can do it, you can too. It takes courage. And the wife and I, when we first resigned from our positions, we were like, holy shit, this is it. This is the last day. So but yeah, here we are, and we're very glad that we made that decision, and we're going to grow the business to whatever capacity we can grow it to. And I know you asked me earlier, where do you see yourself basically 5 years from now? Is meeting my goals. Every year I want to meet my goals. Maybe one day, 5 years from now, I'd love to say, hey, Frank, guess what? We reached our goal at 5 million or at 10 million.
Yeah.
That is how, what I look at, and the way I want my business to hopefully get to one day.
And I believe you can do it. And again, by the way, that was a beautiful story. I can tell.
Oh, thank you.
I can tell you're a very good-hearted person, and
thanks, man.
Yeah, you are. I can tell, and
Thank you.
I appreciate it, and I'm sure the listeners appreciate it, or audience appreciate, how much information you've given out and how helpful you've been, and really inspirational.
Thank you.
And that means a lot, and I'm so glad to have you on again, Angel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being on here. I sincerely believe you're going to meet all your goals, and I believe you have inspired people to get out there and do the same. So again, I truly, truly appreciate you being on.
No, thank you, Frank. I appreciate you a lot, and thanks for having me on today, man.
You bet.
If this information was helpful, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button so you're notified of my future videos. See you next time, Lawn Care Pros.